What's going on, gardeners? On today's 2-minute garden tip, I'm going to show you all how I harvest tomatoes over a month early every single year without fail. My last frost date isn't until about March 30th, so for that reason, I can't really plant my tomatoes out into my garden until the first week of April. And today is April 26th. All of these tomato plants have only been in ground for about 3 weeks. And while everything is progressing rapidly and frankly looking great, it is going to be a while before any of these produce fruit. Many of these are just starting to flower right now, so because of that, it's not going to be until June until any of these in-ground tomatoes start producing ripe fruit for me. So, every year I advise that gardeners start a handful of early determinate or dwarf tomatoes 6 to 8 weeks before they start their main crop of tomatoes, with the goal being to plant them in containers that you can easily carry outside during the day and back indoors at night if it's going to be too cold to leave them outside overnight. And that can give you a huge jump start on the season. And that is precisely what I did here. I'm growing an early determinate variety here called Bobcat and a dwarf tomato called Rosella Purple right here. I planted these in these containers back in January, and then I started bringing them outside when the days would warm up in the middle of February, and then carried them back onto my sunroom as needed. Now, normally I do this shuffle in hard nursery containers or inside fabric grow bags, but this year I got these really nifty containers on wheels, and these wheels made it really easy to cart them in and outside and wheel them around on my patio. And I am just thrilled with the way these performed. If you're curious in these containers, I'll link to a video both above and down in the video description that shows you all about them. I'll also place links to them down in the video description if you're interested in them. They are really great at growing these smaller stature dwarf and determinate tomatoes. And we are already literally reaping the fruits of our labor. Look at all of the tomatoes that are covering this dwarf tomato plant. This Rosella Purple plant is loaded. And down here at the bottom, you can even see some larger tomatoes that are more advanced. And this Bobcat tomato, well, this is bred for even higher yields. And this baby is already loading up with fruit. There are some very large tomatoes there that look like they're already halfway through their growth cycle. And there are even larger clusters of tomatoes down here on the bottom of the plant. I'm even trying to grow a late season heirloom indeterminate tomato plant in one of these planting containers because the trellis goes so high. And while this one isn't setting any fruit yet, because it's a very late season heirloom, it's really progressing nicely and the plant is already 10 feet tall. I think some of those flowers there are starting to dry up, so I should start to see some baby fruits forming soon. I mean, come on, tell me these aren't some gorgeous looking early tomato plants. These super healthy, beautiful plants are going to give me a massive head start on my tomato harvests. So hopefully this proves to you all why it is worth your time to start a set of tomatoes in containers 6 to 8 weeks early every single season. I do this every single year and it pays off big time. However, please be advised, if you want tomatoes an entire month early, you are going to have to start your tomato plants more like 6 to 8 weeks early. And that's because in the beginning of the season, the days are shorter and the temperatures are cooler, so the plants are not going to grow as quickly. They're going to crawl along those first couple of weeks. So if you want tomatoes a full 30 days early, you have to put the plants out more like 45 to 60 days early to make up for the fact that they are going to grow a lot more slowly in the late winter, early spring. And that's today's 2-minute garden tip. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell to receive new video notifications, and check out our Amazon storefront and spread shop in the video description for a list of the gardening products I use and awesome custom designed apparel and other gear. Your support is greatly appreciated.